habit of filling up the memory of this thing. Right. Okay, so what this does then is it records everything. So it'll record this. It's a screen recorder, so it records everything that we say. It'll record the footies that I show you, and also any drills and things. It'll all get kind of captured.
Okay.
And I'll burn that onto a disc. I'll probably send it to you because it takes ages to burn to disc.
That's fine.
And then you've got a record of everything, so you don't need to try and remember all the stuff that I'm saying to you. So it should all be recorded for you. So, what do you think is your main thing that's kind of holding you back, stopping you progressing the way you might want to?
I don't know, having not been looked at.
Yeah,
I don't know. I look at other people, I watch people swim to try and learn from them.
Yeah.
I see them doing things that I think I'm doing, and I'm like, oh, but they're going so much faster.
Yeah.
I think I'm slow in the arms and I'm lacking power in the arms.
Okay.
And my stroke doesn't feel very smooth, it's very light. So it's quite cyclic, like I'm starting, finishing, stopping. So it's like catch, through, finish, rather than like all one.
Yeah, okay.
Motion.
Yeah, okay. I think you'll be quite interested to see what you do look like.
Yeah.
The first thing that I noticed is that you've actually got a really nice body position in the water. You're nice and low. You don't lift your head up particularly high. It's very common for swimmers to lift their head right out of the water when they're breathing. You're not doing that. You're breathing bilaterally. So you've got a lot of really nice things happening with your stroke already.
Yeah, no,
hanging around.
I don't think I rotate at all, but I feel like I'm quite flat.
Okay, alright, well, let's just kind of start to run through then. So, start off with poolside view. Now, what I'm having a look on this side on view for really is a few things. See what the recovery of the arm over the water is like. You've actually got a reasonably high elbow here. If you're under rotating, generally because of the way you move through the water, you'd have to rotate, almost kind of recover the arm around the side.
Yeah.
But because if you rotate enough, it gives you the height to come in from high. So your elbow's pretty high. You know, it's reasonably high there. Your hand is swinging through, and looks like it's spearing in quite nicely there. That looks fairly tidy. So on the right hand side, not too bad in terms of the height of the elbow. It's a little bit hand-led, so rather than the elbow coming up and the elbow leading and the hand coming through, it's a little bit kind of hand is coming first.
Okay.
We'll have a closer look at that in a second. Now what we are starting to see straight away, and this is one of the things we're going to work on today, is you can see where that hand is headed. It's headed that way. So rather than heading the way we're travelling, we'll be able to see it from the above view in a second. You're recovering over the water and heading over that way rather than being straight.
Oh, as in on plan, like crossing the water towards
crossing
the centre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's spearing in nicely, fingertips first, and then you can see your elbow coming in because that's what's generating the splash. Now let's have a look at your head as you turn to breathe. Just going to dip into the water before you breathe. There we go. There we go. Nice and low. We talk about Popeye breathing, where you kind of you kind of mouth over to one side to give yourself a bit of extra space to breathe. Because what happens is you keep your head low, which you are, you get this bow wave forming, and the bow wave comes down and creates a little trough.
Yeah.
And the Popeye is, you're giving yourself an extra bit of space by putting your mouth over to one side. One goggle in the water, one goggle out. That's exactly what we ask people to do. So that's really good. There's a lot of good stuff. Okay?
Helps at
the pool's flatter. Well, I was saying that just towards the end there, is lifting up a little bit, but not too bad. And there's our hand again, coming over the top, and then kind of it's pointing over that way, towards that kind of piece of wood there, rather than straight. And then it enters the water and straightens up. So nice and tidy from the side, really, but it's starting to give us a few clues as to what we might see a little bit further on. So we dip underneath the water. Now, your body position is actually pretty good. considering the thing we're going to look at today is your alignment and the quality of your catch pull through. People who have problems in that area generally have much lower body position than you, so you've got a naturally quite a high body position in the water, which is really good. So your back of your shoulders are here touching the surface of the water. Your bottom's just on the surface of the water there. So you've actually got some quite nice, fortunate things happening with your stroke already. Fortunate in terms of body position, natural buoyancy. A lot of people would die for that, but you have that already. And also good things in terms of the way you're breathing, in terms of breathing both sides and keeping your head down low. But what we're really going to see on the way back, particularly,
my arms are low, my legs are really slow.
Yeah.
I've never ever seen myself swim.
Now your legs, yes, no, absolutely. Now this is what we're going to see on this side. This is what we're looking for here. So when this hand enters the water here, what we've got here, and we'll see it closer as we kind of got a sideways view, is we're pressing down at the front of the stroke. When I say pressing down, of course, what makes us go forwards through the water is pushing the water back. That arm is pushing straight down, and it's not until it gets down to that kind of level where you're actually starting to generate anything which is going anywhere vaguely backwards. Yeah. Also, do you get any shoulder pain or discomfort or anything like that particularly?
Not anymore.
Okay. Okay. So.
Yeah. I thought I was bending my arm. Clearly not.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's the biggie really.
Yeah.
Is you've got a very straight arm. In fact, I mean, there's no point measuring it. It's dead straight. And what we should be looking for. Dredging the pool. So it's always good to see what it should look like.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can visualise. This is Rebecca Adlington.
Okay.
So if we take you back to, so she's just speared in there.
Yeah.
So similar position. Now already, what Becky's doing is she's just tipping the wrist down, and that engages the catch. All right. Yeah. So if we look at what happens to her hand here, she is right at the start of the stroke. She's already generating some propulsion from the hand.
Yes.
The elbow stays high, and then she produces this angle here, which is normally between 100 and 120 degrees is what we're looking for. Okay? Yeah. Yours is going to be 180, pretty much straight. Okay? Now, I'll do a little demo with you in a second. When you have that higher elbow position with your catch and pull through, and with the rotation as well, you're actually using your back and your chest to pull. Okay? Much more powerful muscles than if you pull down straight, you're using your shoulders to pull. All right? So you're using a much weaker muscle to pull through with. So it's a weaker muscle, and it's less efficient in terms of the amount of kind of purchase you get on the water as well. So that's that big push down, and it happens particularly when you breathe.
Yes.
All right? You're spending a lot of time breathing. We'll have a look at something in a second which may account for why you're doing that. So when you breathe, you're pulling down straight, and you're losing all your support at the front end of the stroke. All right? Again, I'll have a look at something in a second, but there should always be a hand in front of the forehead. Yeah. And that's called front quadrant swimming. There should always be something there providing the support or the propulsion at the front of the stroke. If you don't have that, what happens is, you've got no support, so your head will start to sink down. Once your head starts to sink down, then of course the body will follow where the head goes generally. So big straight arm pull through here. You mentioned your legs, I think, just a second ago.
Yeah. Sitting around and
Yeah.
rotating and everything.
But
I don't feel like I'm doing that, but
well, your legs, all your leg are doing is balancing up the rest of your stroke.
yeah.
So if you have an imbalance or anything at the front of the stroke you need to work on, then that will automatically improve the legs.
Okay.
So I don't see the legs as being a problem.
Okay.
They're just a counterbalance to what else is happening.
Yeah.
Don't worry too much about that. But this is the thing that we need to spend some time working on. So this big lever here, get that elbow up high. It's a little bit better on that side when you're breathing to the left. But when we breathe to the right, in fact, this is what I'm going to look for here, is this breathing out. I'll come back to that in a second. So when you turn to breathe, you're pushing down on that arm, and you're taking a long time to take that breath. So breath, it should be breathe in,
Okay.
snapping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a timing issue. Now, what I'm looking at here, why are we taking a long time to breathe? I suspect it's because you're holding your breath.
So I've not fully exhaled before I get up.
Exactly, yeah. So you're taking a breath there, and there are some bubbles coming out. But I suspect what we'll see, just as you start thinking about turning to breathe here, see all that coming out there? So you're doing the bulk of your exhaling just before you breathe in, which is reducing your window to breathe in.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
So you feel like you need more time to get that air in, so you're pausing on the left-hand side, which is throwing the timing of the arm out, because it shouldn't be there that long, which is why it's down here by the time you finish breathing. So they're all these things are linked. That's such an interesting thing about swimming, is you can kind of almost take it to pieces and you can see what's one thing causes something else. It's all cause and effect. And there's that the long breath on that side again. Okay. With me so far?
Yes.
So this is the angle which always surprises people, because you never get to see yourself from above.
Yes.
Just play this through. So decent amount of rotation here, so the arm is coming up over the top fairly well. Here's our little bit of a crossover that we're talking about. So the arm is heading over in that direction, and then it's straightening up as it's into the water. And similar kind of thing on that side, not too bad. A little bit kind of weak with the hands rather than having some positivity in terms of.
I feel like I'm weaker with my left hand. I always feel like I get a better grab
Yeah.
with that hand.
Yeah, well, you can see the position of your hand. It's a little bit side on.
Yeah.
We can have a closer look at that actually. But that hand is actually, that one kind of, you have a tendency to over rotate as well. So your hand is kind of almost slicing through the water rather than going in and turning into a paddle. It's kind of almost cutting through the water. We'll be doing some drills, which I'll go through in a second, which will set up the catch better. All right. So it'll automatically improve things like your hand entry and the position of your hand as you extend forward.
Yeah.
But just quickly kind of carry on playing this through. Here we go. There's our loss of support. So
In the front box.
yeah. So if I show you John Van Hazel. So this is the chap that I don't know if you've seen this video before, but this is the guy that Mr. Smooth is actually modelled on, the animation.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So he's an Olympian, so he's not too shabby in the pool. Super straight, so he's spearing in front of his shoulder. Have you seen the Mr. Smooth animation?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So this is what I'm trying to show you here. So we recover over the water like you do. And ultimately what you do is you spear into the water in front of your shoulder line,
Okay.
and that hand stays in front of the shoulder line.
Okay. Yeah.
And then actually pulls through as he rotates underneath his shoulder. So that hand is always in line with the shoulder. Let's play that through so you've got it on here. So super straight. So if we, I mean, it's not too bad in terms of some people will be crossing over right over here, but there's definitely this kind of angle here,
Yeah.
and then a kind of this slightly weak hand at the front. Yeah, an over rotation of the shoulder. So what you can get if you start to increase the distance is you'll get pain or potentially pain or injury from the shoulder from pulling through straight. But what you're also doing is over rotating, so you can cause impingements in the shoulder here because you're twisting it. And your legs are scissor kicking here, opening up. But that's purely to balance up the front end here. Okay, so what we're going to do then is...
Why do fingers kind of hang these days?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why I feel like I get a better grip. I always feel I have better grip with the right hand. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, so... Yeah, on the left hand they're kind of a little bit...
Yes.
Well, we can... I'll give you to have a go with the paddles down here, actually. You almost need to start tuning into what's happening, into things like your hand and feeling for the water pressure on the hand, almost thinking of it as a paddle. Yeah, so you're looking at this spearing in, it's rotating, palm facing outwards.
Yeah.
We won't read too much about that at the moment.
And then down.
and then down, and then back.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know, if you're swimming 730 to 400, you're actually doing pretty well, and that is because of your body positioning, because of the position you're sitting in the water. If we can improve the quality of your catch and pull through, then that should make a significant impact into the speed that you swim at. So what I want to do then, first of all, is we're going to do some sink down drills to get you used to exhaling and getting all that air out of your lungs. And then I'm just going to get you to swim normally with some fins on, okay? And you've done bubble bubble breathe before?
Yeah.
Yeah? I want to have a look at you swimming while you're doing that.
Okay.
All right? Just to see if it changes the timing of you turning to breathe, and seeing if it reduces the amount of time that you're spending on your side. Okay? So just a couple of things quickly to work on in terms of breathing. You definitely want to get rid of that breath holding. We're then going to do some alignment drills to get you straighter in the water. And a lot of these drills you'll have seen before. So kicking on the side to start off with, because that's the kind of the base start point. But what we haven't seen before is I haven't seen you doing these drills.
Yeah.
Very often these drills are done incorrectly, and like any drill, if you're going to do a drill, then you've got to do it right. Otherwise, what's the point? You know, you could be training yourself to do something incorrectly.
Yes.
So nice and long in the water, completely on his side here. This is Paul Newsom from Swim Smooth, completely on his side. And there's that the fingertips, the wrist tipped down. We saw with Becca Adlington.
Yeah.
And you're training yourself to be in that position. There's our palm facing down. So it's kind of ticking a lot of the boxes that we need to tick in terms of the way you're holding yourself in the water. So palm facing down, nice and straight in alignment. And what you can actually do during the kick on the side drill as well is you can practice your exhaling. So you're taking your breath and then constant exhalation. So you can do a load of stuff in one drill. So kicking on the side. training ourselves to be like Jono Van Hazen in the water. So Mr. Smooth, nice and straight. And then 6-1-6, and you can see where we start to introduce a stroke. So a big stroke, rotating onto the other side. Take a breath immediately after the stroke. There we go. And this is where we're practicing spearing in front of the shoulder, staying straight. Okay. Quickly, just so as you've got it on here as well. And this is just a standard progression. So kick on the side, 6-1-6, and then 6-3-6, where we build up to more full strokes. 1, 2, 3. So we're taking 3 strokes, more like normal swimming, but we're still really focusing on that alignment. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's going to help you get straight in the water. Hopefully the breathing drills that we can work through, and that's going to be an ongoing thing, will hopefully sort out some of the timing where you're spending too long on one side. And then really the main ones for you, in terms of your pushing down straight, are skill number 1. Where are you? Skill number 1. And this is again really good for your hand position, because we're working on having a good positive flat hand. This is feeling the actual pressure of the water as we're washing the water in and out. All right? And again, this is training ourselves to be, when we spear into the water, into this wrist tipped position.
Yes.
Never elbow dropped. Because you do this on your so your palm up there.
Yeah.
The wrist is below the elbow, to be fair, which is fine. But you've got a bit of a pushing forwards here with the brakes on, putting the brakes on the front of the stroke. You do it a little bit on the other side. So you're training yourself to be spearing in, and that's the position you're in. That's skill number 1. Okay? Elbow high. And then we're going to move on to doggy paddle. Doggy paddle before?
But when we stay in the water.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes some getting used to, but this is the one which is really going to help you focus on getting that elbow high and pulling through with a bent elbow, with a high elbow. Okay, there's this angle that we're looking for. So we're just practicing constantly getting this elbow, pushing all this water back here. And that's going to be more than enough for you to be getting on with.
Yeah.
Okay? Understand all that?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So, really good things going on there, but some fairly kind of basic things which I'm hoping we can really kind of get stuck into and hopefully make some fairly quick differences or changes to you. All right? Any questions or anything now?
No?
No?
You might have to go through that slowly.
Yeah, no, of course, absolutely, yeah. Okay, all right, let me just switch this off, get this